First of all, a really warm welcome to everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your mornings, your afternoons, your evenings, wherever you are currently based, to attend the 2025 Learner Open Day. It's really lovely to have you all with us. Whether you're looking to enroll on a program, whether you've already applied and are looking to find out a little bit more information, we've got people all the way through that spectrum that have joined us today, and it's really nice to have you on and talk to you a little bit about Learna, who we are, why we exist, what's our mission, and then have you hear from different members of our team, both internal and actually external. We're really lucky to have one of our program directors on one of our courses join us today, who will tell you a little bit about our programs and how it can really help you as our healthcare professionals and our students, really. So my name is Anish Kotecha. I'm the head of medical education here at Learna, and I've been a GP for 10 years now, and joined Learna 2 years ago. It's been a really exciting and interesting journey here at Learna. So who are we at Learna? We've existed for 15 years now, set up many years ago, and really we have a mission statement. We really want to improve global healthcare through medical education. It's a big, bold mission statement, and the way we do that is to educate and to upskill the knowledge base of healthcare professionals all over the globe. We've got a truly global student base, and it's really, really exciting to be able to help individuals or group of individuals to do two things fundamentally: to really help improve, refresh their knowledge base, so that they can help their communities and the patients that they serve better. But actually, in my experience, it's a little bit bigger than that, because actually what I personally experience is it's not just their actual patients that they can help, but some people have actually come back, many of our students come back and say they've actually been able to implement processes and policies in their areas that have served populations, therefore, in a better way, and have worked strategically with other healthcare providers in their areas, and our programs have given them the appetite, the skill set to be able to really influence population health, which is really exciting. So not just their patients, but actually more wider. But also, it's about career progression, career diversification. And so our programs, educationally and the credentialization of professionals, healthcare professionals, it does allow you to advance your career. And we've got sort of examples of where that actually has been true. Okay, so I thought it might be helpful for you potentially. I want to make this sort of interactive if we can. So actually, I think what would be helpful is if you can tell us a little bit in the chat, maybe about who you are, where you're from, what you do, but also maybe what course or program you're potentially interested in. Hopefully the chat function will work for you to be able to do that. So please do, let's make this interactive. Please do, as I'm talking, as we're talking to you, please do start telling us in the chat, who you are, what you do, where you're based, and what program you're potentially interested in. So we get to learn a little bit more about who you are. So please start doing that in the chat now, if that's okay. So we've got a pretty packed agenda today. We've got different speakers telling you about our university partners. As I said, we've got one of our program directors online. Going to be talking to you about our online platform. We've got a talk from our admissions team and our student services team as well. So you get a really good picture of who Learna are. So before I pass on to one of our other internal members of staff, I kind of just thought I'd tell you a little bit about how our courses run. So if you're doing a postgraduate certificate, that takes 6 months to do, and that consists of 3 modules. All of our modules are 6 weeks long. We're purely online. Postgraduate certificate, 6 months long, and 3 modules, all 6 weeks in length. If you're doing a postgraduate diploma with us, that's a year long, and that's 6 modules, all 6 weeks long again. And if you're doing the MSc, that rolls into the second year. So we go anywhere from postgraduate certificate up to MSc. All of our programs are level 7, they're degree level awards. And all of our programs are validated by our partnering UK universities. But actually, your experience will be with us. Your degree award will be from our partnering university. Okay. All of our programs are purely online. They're all asynchronous. And the reason to make them asynchronous is we've got a global student base, and therefore you're not required to log in at a certain time to join a real-time webinar. Actually, the point is that you contribute to and take away from when works for you around your professional, but also importantly, your personal lives. We know you all have really busy professional lives, but also personal circumstances. So the whole point of our programs is you log in, you contribute to the online platform and take away from it at a time that works for you. Let me talk to you about our 4 assessment methods, which hold true for the majority of our programs. So we've got 4 assessment methods. 40% of the majority of our programs will comprise of the academic forum. We call that the academic forum. It's an online space where you will be enrolled with your cohort of students, and your tutor, who will be facilitating discussions, will prompt you with, in the majority of cases, clinically rich case scenarios, which will be appropriate to your program. So they might post a case discussion, for example, about diabetes. If you're on MSc or PG Dip in diabetes, they will put a case scenario there, and then they will prompt our students with engaging discussions. It's not question and answer. The whole point of this is they will post prompts. The idea is our students come onto the online platform and they bring evidence to engage in discussions around that case about investigations or management. And then that discussion that's had between you and your peers will then be facilitated by a tutor who is an expert in that field as well. You might have a diabetes consultant or a GP with an extended role or a specialist interest in diabetes, or a specialist nurse, for example. So the clinical cases are put online. You then come in and bring evidence to support your answers of how you might investigate further, how you might manage, how you might use an MDT approach. And then that discussion is then facilitated by a tutor. We also do like you to share your own experiences in that discussion. So you might come in and say, oh, this paper, for example, in the Lancet or in this publication suggests this might be a good thing to do. But then you'd also ask your peers for their opinions. Your peers would then come in and say, yeah, understand that, but actually I found this paper that does suggest this slightly different view. Or actually, in my experience, I felt that this works quite well. So it ends up being a really rich learning environment by healthcare professionals that are working in different settings, working with different people, bring different perspectives, look at different guidelines, etc. And although we do like people to contribute little and often, what people go away and give us feedback on this particular assessment method is, okay, it was a decent amount of work, but actually we took so much away from and contributed to, and actually the tutor was able to facilitate these conversations and bring their perspectives, that it was really, really useful. So 40% of the mark comes from the online learning platform. And that's where you contribute little and often each week through that 6 weeks. Okay. 10% comes from a reflective journal. So that's where you will reflect on your learning, how you've implemented that in your practice, but really importantly, then in subsequent weeks might come back and say, so because of that learning, I was able to implement it in this way, anonymized, of course, but actually I now know I need to learn a little bit more about A, B, or C, and that I'll go and do and come and reflect in further weeks. So it's this constant reflection, which we all as healthcare professionals do. We always do that. I'm constantly reflecting in my appraisal annually. I'm reflecting on my learning and what I further need to develop the next year. So 10% actually comes from just reflecting. 30% comes from an end of module. So at the end of the 6 weeks, an end of module MCQ. It's a timed exam, but all of the material that you're tested on, all the questions, will be directly taken from the learning that you've had on the academic forum. So you learn this, and you get tested on that in an MCQ at the end of that module. So that's 30% of the marks. And the last 20 comes from a module activity. This is a place where we really like you to develop your postgraduate skills that will help develop you and credentialize you to become key opinion leaders potentially. So the types of module activities we like people to do are, develop a poster as if you were going to a conference. One of the first things I did was I developed a poster and presented it at a conference, or write a patient blog, or why don't you have a narrated presentation to some colleagues about how to manage type 2 diabetes if people are already on metformin, or something of that nature that helps you develop skills that will then help you develop in the postgraduate arena. So that's 20% of the mark. So that's just a snapshot of how our program is run. 4 assessment methods, all objectively marked by your tutor, apart from the questions which are obviously computer marked. So that's a snapshot. Hope that was useful. But if you've got any questions, pop them in the chat and we'll answer that as we go through the session. So without further ado, if it's all right, I want to hand over to Sarah Younger, who is our academic registrar, who's going to be giving you an introduction to our university partners. Sarah, over to you, if that's okay.
Thank you, Anish. Hello, everyone. It's really, really good to see so many people joining this call. I'm the academic registrar at Learna and head up a team that really makes sure our programs maintain their high standards and comply with all the regulations that these type of programs need to comply with. Those sorts of regulations differ slightly between our partner universities, but are essentially the same, and they are all aimed at regulating a high standard of quality for all our programs. So depending on which program you are going to be joining us for, you will either be awarded by the University of South Wales or the University of Buckingham. For the University of South Wales, that's the university that's local to Learna, and we're based in Cardiff, and the University of South Wales has lots of campuses in and around Cardiff and out towards Newport, and also a campus based in London. It was established originally in 1913 as the University of Glamorgan, and then in 2013 it merged with the University of Wales and became the University of South Wales then in 2013. It has approximately 26,000 students a year, most of them based on the campuses in and around Cardiff. In 2024, the National Student Survey ranked the University of South Wales as top in Wales for their medical sciences programme, and we're very proud to be part of that accolade. So we have 22 postgraduate diplomas and MSc programmes with that university, and also a suite of 11 postgraduate certificates. The Leadership in Healthcare programs sit in the University of South Wales's Faculty of Business and Creative Industries, and then all the other medical programs sit in the Faculty of Life Sciences and Education. And then Buckingham University is more towards London Way. It's an England-based university. It's the first independent university established in the UK, and it was founded in 1976. It also contains the first independent medical school established in the UK, and almost all of our programs with Buckingham University then sit within that medical faculty. We have 20 postgraduate diplomas and MScs with the University of Buckingham and one standalone postgraduate certificate. The University of Buckingham is sort of northwest of London, about 50 miles northwest of London, and a beautiful campus in the heart of Buckinghamshire that has really good graduation ceremonies. But that's a long way down the road for you guys, but it's a great end to your study experience if you are able to make it to a graduation ceremony there. Now, for both of these universities, we have strict regulations to follow, and there are several departments within Learna then that make sure these things happen. We have policies in place for ensuring the quality of your experience. These are all set out in your student handbooks, but they are around student code of conduct, based on the ethos of simply of respect for each other. And there are also policies there in place in case you need extra time for your assignment work. You may have personal circumstances that mean you can't meet a deadline. Or for those of you with special educational needs or disabilities, then we have policies in place that will allow you to work at your own pace. So what we always say is if there's any extra help that you need during your studies, then your first port of call is always our student services team, and they will direct you to the right people, sometimes make you fill out the right forms and so on. But it will all be in compliance with your respective universities' regulations. We also have, for each of your programs, there is an external examiner. These are appointed by the university, but they are not based in the university. They are usually based in some other university. They are subject experts that bring a level of quality assurance to the award boards at the end of your studies when we are presenting your marks for ratification by the university. These external examiners will be in the platform looking at your work, looking at how the tutors perform, and generally assuring that we provide a level 7 learning experience for you so that you get best possible outcomes from your studies. For each of our universities, they require us to do regular reporting on such things as your marks, but also your feedback. So we will be surveying you at the end of each of your modules, and it's my team that collate all that information, and depending on the feedback, then may make action plans to put in place for improvements that might be suggested by students and so forth. That's a big part of the work of my team, and that all gets reported back to the universities, and we work with our university colleagues on action plans for programs and revalidating programs, validating new programs, and so on. So just to be reassured, we have close ties with our partner colleagues at each of our universities. I think that's it. I think one more thing, student reps, we will be recruiting student reps we have a student representative for each program, for each cohort. Again, these activities are coordinated in the department that I head up, but it will allow you access to university personnel and so forth. But more about that once you start your studies. We like you to settle into your studies. Once you've settled in, we'll hit you with some information about how you can become even more involved if you want to do that, and take that forwards. And that's it from me. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thanks so much, Sarah. Yes, Sarah's been with us a very long time, so she's kind of a bundle of knowledge. So thanks, Sarah. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a really good way. You're really experienced at Learna, so you can answer all the questions. Thank you, Sarah. Really, really much appreciated.
Pleasure.
So what I want to now do is get you to hear from one of our program directors, and it gives me a great pleasure to really introduce to you Dr. Claire Holt. Dr. Holt is our program director for our leadership in healthcare, as well as our executive MBA in healthcare management. Again, Claire's been with us she's very experienced with Learna, so she has an abundance of knowledge as to what it takes to complete our courses, and really kind of what the prospects are after completing your program. So over to you, Dr. Holt. Thanks so much for joining.
Thank you very much, Anish, and welcome again to everybody. As I've just put in the chat, I think going through, it's incredible of how many of you are joining us from all corners of the world. So welcome. And yeah, as Anish said, it's good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, I think, across I feel like I'm presenting the Eurovision Song Contest saying it like that. Anyway, so yes, as Anish said, I've been with Learna a while. I've been looking back, trying to remember when I joined, and Sarah and Rachel, colleagues on the virtual open day with us today, I'll probably be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but I definitely think it's been about since 2018, 2019. I know that I was with Learna during COVID. Very fortunate to be with Learna during COVID, because we were at that time one of the only education providers offering solely virtual programs. And I think, you know, we have sort of carried on paving the way when it comes to online learning. So in terms of what you can expect during your course, but also after your course, I suppose, I think from a program director perspective and the many, many tutors that you will be working with and meeting and work across these programs, I think one of the most important things for me is the fact that it's not just academics. A lot of the tutors are practitioners. So what we're doing for you here is we're certainly giving you that level 7 academic foundation of learning. But what we're also doing is we're ensuring that it's applicable. In other words, you're learning, and throughout the academic forum, which Anish has already discussed with you, the discussions that you have with your peers and your tutors, along with the opportunity to reflect in the reflective journals, are all opportunities for you to look at your places of work and how your learning applies. You can do it virtually instantaneously. For example, I'm currently working or tutoring on the module 6 of the Leadership and Healthcare programme. And what I'm recognising now, we're already in weeks 3 and 4 on leading change in healthcare, is how many of the students are already reporting back saying, I've tried this, I'm now going to do this differently. I've already started to talk to my team in a different way, recognising why it's not worked in the past and what we need to do differently in the future. So associated with that, in terms of the benefits of a level 7 postgraduate diploma, masters, and learning this way, is one of the opportunities to really learn from others, not just from materials, not just from academic materials or other reports and other publications, but you're learning from each other. And again, that international richness, which is why I wanted to pull out that international richness of how many of you are from different countries on this call, is what really makes it so beneficial for everybody. We have an assumption, particularly in healthcare, and I'm going to be honest here in the United Kingdom with the NHS, is we become very NHS centric. And the assumption is the issues that we cope with in health, or we're dealing with in healthcare, are just our problem. No one else in the world is dealing with the same problems. However, when you all come together in the academic forum and have these opportunities for such rich discussion, we soon realise that a lot of the issues that we're facing across healthcare is actually global. So a lot of the problems that are being confronted here in the UK are also happening in other parts of the world. We have a lot of students from the Caribbean, from Canada, from Malta, from parts of Africa, from Saudi Arabia and other parts of the Middle East. And it's very, very interesting to learn that there are so many of these issues and problems that we are facing that are the same. Therefore, the learning is so valuable in that respect. The other thing for me that stands out with the learning and doing this is, first of all, postgraduate level 7 is not easy. I'm going to be honest, especially when you're working full time, and a lot of you will be balancing family commitments as well. However, what I want you to say is it might not be easy, but the sense of satisfaction, the confidence you will get from doing a program like this is just, it's priceless, to be perfectly honest. There are so many opportunities for you to use the language that you learn on these programs in your place of work so you can be more articulate in your work. You can be more eloquent in explaining things to your colleagues, to patients, to other stakeholders that you're working with. These programs give you almost an additional toolbox to grow from and to do things differently from. So although it might not be easy, and no one has ever said that a level 7 master's or postgraduate qualification is going to be easy, but it will certainly be a sense of achievement. And linked to that growth and confidence is also that opportunity of career progression. Being able to reflect on your learning throughout the program and apply it to your workplace, you can also then think about how you can then maybe expand your career. What would you like to do next? I mean, some examples from the leadership program that I can share with you are sort of paramedics who have gone on to management. I've been working with also middle level managers or nurses who have been band 5, band 6, who have found themselves ward managers. So there is so much opportunity for you to excel and think about that next step, using the learning from the course to grow that confidence and add that to your CV. Another thing that I would like to add is the academic forum and your reflective journal. These are safe spaces for you to have some really interesting conversations. Anish has already said about the learning and how you can say that maybe you've read a paper, or how you might be critiquing that paper versus another paper you've read, or actually thinking about that theory into practice. Does that theory really help in practice, or actually is practice very different? So therefore, how can we make sense of practice based on theory? But this is a safe space for you to have very open and honest conversations together and with your tutor. And that is the same with the reflective journal. The reflective journal, I always think of when I'm tutoring, is almost sort of an unofficial little coaching space where you can maybe express where you're struggling with either some learning or maybe applying something into practice, and you want to do something differently. And again, your tutor can maybe help you think differently with regards to something that you're learning or something that you're experiencing in your place of work. So ultimately, what I would say to all of you is, if you're still just thinking about it, is maybe have a think about how it is that you want to be perceived in your place of work, and maybe that next career move that you're considering. And actually, this is probably one of the best opportunities for you, because being asynchronous, as Anish said, you have got so much opportunity to dip in and out of your learning throughout the 6 weeks. You've got so much opportunity to network, opportunity to learn from others. And I'll tell you something, as a tutor and program director, I have learned so much from past learners and learners who are currently on the programs. I learn so much every day myself. And I know that all the tutors that I work with would completely agree with me on that. So for all of us, it's an opportunity to learn and develop, grow in confidence, and certainly excel in careers moving forward. And on that note, I will hand back to Anish, and I'll hang around for any questions that we may have later on.
Dr. Hall, that was absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much. Your kind of experience literally just radiates out. It's absolutely incredible. I remember you last year at the same thing, and I was just thinking, oh my God, I'm in absolute awe of how you talk and how passionate you are about the programs, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
I suppose I've been here a long time, and I've seen it grow and develop, and I've grown and developed because I've learned so much from the students, as much as I hope they've learned something from me. But, I know that I've certainly learned so much from them over the years.
Yeah, and I think, I kind of just wanted to pick up on a couple of things you said, which are really, for me, really important, because, to everyone that's thinking of doing a program, I think one thing that comes up, a number of times and takes a little bit of reassurance to the students is, is this whole sort of multidisciplinary team on the program. So, I'll often speak to nurses who sort of say, God, I'm in this forum, on this academic forum with consultants sometimes, or registrars or doctors. And actually, I kind of feel a little bit out of my depth. And I understand we've got some nurses on this call. And I think it's a really important thing to point out is the whole point of this program is for you to develop in your role, but also contribute to. So, I remember vividly speaking to a respiratory nurse on the respiratory program, and they reached out and said, I just feel out of my depth here. And I don't think I'm going to have the same level of contribution as some of these doctors. And my answer to them was very much, you've got your own value that you bring. I'm a GP by background, and actually, I look to my nurses for when they do, in this case, spirometry, for example, and, I'm looking to them for their expertise. In my practice, the nurses have pretty much taken over respiratory care of our patients with asthma or COPD, for example, and they do a lot of it. They know the inhalers better. They know the investigations really well. They analyze it far more than we do now. So everyone is able to contribute in their own way on these programs and take away from. So, if you're a nurse, if you're a doctor, you're all going to be contributing equally to this. And I think that's the value of our programs. They do allow you to actually talk to each other, contribute to and learn from each other. I think that's really important.
You've absolutely hit it there. And I think one of the things that is taught on both the EMBA and on the leadership diploma and masters is when we look at leadership, we look at followership. And for me, followers and leaders, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your role, what your position, where you sit, because everyone is an expert in what they do. And I'm also very passionate about this whole sort of hierarchical perspective that we have socially constructed around doctors and nurses.
Yeah.
To me, they're level.
Yeah.
They're absolutely level, because a doctor cannot do his job, as you have just said, Anish, without the nurse. Yeah. And the nurse is there to support and advocate for the patient when the doctor has got lots of other things to be diagnosing and considering. So for me, there's no hierarchy, and that is what is so great about these programs. And what I always say to people who have that bit of imposter syndrome kicking in, we all have it, I have it all the time as well. It's one of those things that just remember, when you're in these forums, and this goes for when you're in your place of work, you are the expert in what you do. You know your job. That's why you do it, and you do it so well, and you want to improve doing it by doing these courses. So I suppose for me, the other side to that is it's an opportunity for anyone who maybe is a doctor or maybe is a non-clinical lead who's on these calls. It gives them an opportunity to work with the clinical side, or the doctor to understand the nurse's perspective, or the nurse to understand the perspective from somebody else. It is such an important thing to recognise and empathise the different perspectives. And healthcare is so diverse in all the different roles that we have. Other programs that I work on, we have everyone from facilities to digital to surgery, you name it. And then, of course, you've got the social care side of things, and the integrated side there coming into play when we're looking at community health and public health. So healthcare is such a broad spectrum of individuals. And I just think, don't let somebody's job title, somebody's role, make you feel any less inferior than you're already making yourself. It's all our mind over matter. And be confident that you are the expert, you have the skill, you have the knowledge, and you have the ability to do this program.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And we have got lots of people on the call that are, from different disciplines. The nurses on this, there are doctors on it. So I think that's a really important point to make. Thanks, Dr.
Just quickly, I'll never forget a very esteemed orthopedic surgeon based in the West Midlands saying to me that when he did some work during COVID, and he found himself working in ICU, he had not got a clue what to do, because there were things that he had not done since med school. And it suddenly made him realise the work that nurses do, particularly in the department and working in intensive care, it suddenly opened his eyes again to the role and the role that nurses play. And, he's used to working with scrub nurses, but he'd completely forgotten the incredible work. And he had admitted, if I had to go around doing, just taking blood every day, he said I wouldn't be very good at it anymore. Yes, I can cut, but it doesn't mean that I can do everything else anymore. So it was an interesting thing for me to hear, and it's absolutely right. And that's what I just want to say to people, you are the expert in what you do, and never ever forget that.
I think it's really interesting. On Monday, for example, I had a patient that I needed some urgent blood and an ECG on, and I went down to the HCA and said, "Can you do an ECG for me? I'll get the bloods done." And the comment back to me was, "When was the last time you did any bloods? Do you really think you can find a vein anymore?" And I said, I suspect I could have a go. But she was like, "No, let me do it. I know what I'm doing with that." So it literally proved the point in my clinic on Monday. So yeah, I think that's really important. Thanks, Dr. Holt. Really, really appreciate that. Okay. Just a reminder, if you haven't already, I think it's really important, as per this discussion just now, I think it's really important for you guys just to let us know what you do. So if you haven't already, please do in the chat put, who you are, where you're from, and what program you're looking to do, and what you are by profession. I think that'd be really helpful for us. Okay, so without further ado, I want to invite Andrew Stevens. Andrew Stevens is the head of learning experience at Learna, and he's going to talk to you about our online learning platform. So over to you, if that's okay.
Yeah, good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is for all of you. Welcome to this open day. I'm going to be talking about let's be fair, the most important part of your learning experience here at Learna, and that's how you're actually going to interact with the course itself. I just need to share my screen, so if you give me 1 second, you should be able to see my screen now. So I'm going to be looking at my second monitor. So if I'm not looking directly at the camera, then that's why. So yeah, but this is our learning platform. It is a version of a program called Moodle. And it is the way that we present all of your learning to you throughout your entire course. Here we have I logged in as a demo student, so this is the kind of experience that you will get when you log in on day 1 of your course when it starts. And as you can see, there are various different things that we offer you right from your home pages, your dashboard here. So we've got access to our library. We've got this little section here called Learner Seminars, and we've got this section called Study Skills, as well as, for this case, it's Medical Education, Module 1, Module 2, and Module 3. Okay. We understand that doing a course entirely online may be a new experience for a lot of people. It may be something that you're not used to, and it may be something that might cause you a little bit of anxiety. And in order to try and smooth that out, we have multiple different resources that we are going to show you and guide you through when you, essentially the moment you sign up to your course. All the way through to the start of the course, and then from there beyond. I'm just going to first of all run through some of those resources with you. Okay, so as you can see at the top here, we've got our help center, and we've got this thing called GetSet. Now, GetSet's going to be the first thing that I'm going to show you. Can I just confirm with someone that you can see the GetSet screen now? Okay, perfect. I'm getting thumbs up. Amazing. So as soon as you pay for your course, sorry, as soon as you sign up for your course, you get access to this GetSet resource. It's a series of 10 different pages for you to run through that runs you through things like who's going to be tutoring on your course, who's the PD, what's their background, what are the key dates for the course, what university resources will you get, some advice from alumni, and some hints and tips on how to be successful, as well as our learning survey, which happens at the end. This is a really effective way for you just to get all of that key information before your course starts to try and smooth out some of your nerves. It is definitely something we strongly recommend you take a look at. As soon as you've signed up for your course, you'll see the link for it. So yeah, that is our Get Set for Success module. So if we go back to our dashboard, then we've also got this thing up here called the Help Center. So when you get access to your course on day 1, in fact, even before day 1, we have a period of time called our study skills, which for this September is opening on the 1st of September for you. Okay, so if I click into the study skills module here, this is the guidance on how to complete your online course. Okay, it contains loads of really good videos. It contains some tasks and activities and some training for you to be able to go through and fully acclimatize yourself with what on earth is an academic forum. Even though we've had some fantastic explanations from both Claire and Anish about what an academic forum is, this is your official training. This will take you through step by step things like, how do I make a post? Things like, what is expected of me? What are the marking rubrics? How am I assessed throughout this? Okay, so as you progress through this, it's a week-long module. We will take you through every single one of our assessed areas. Here we are talking about the reflective journal and the module activity and the exam as well. And then we give you a little bit more extra information about academic misconduct and all of the stuff that Sarah was talking about around the processes that we have to follow with our universities. So this includes things like your collusion and how do I reference? Some of you, it might have been a while since you've done any kind of academic writing. So we give you a bit of training on some academic writing in there, especially if you're brand new to Harvard referencing. Then we explain these things for you step by step at the very beginning. How do I search on a library? That again gets explained to you. And then we've got moving on to day 4. We appreciate, again, it may have been some time since you have done a lot of this work, a lot of this kind of scientific understanding. So we run you through how to read a paper, how to critically evaluate a paper, how to understand if this paper is scientifically effective or not. And we give you all of that kind of baseline training. And all of that starts before your course actually starts. So I'm going to click the Learner button up here to go back to my dashboard. That's study skills in a nutshell. Okay, so before your course even starts, that first week before your course starts, we have that foundational, here you go, here's how to complete the course, here's that understanding. We will take you through things like the library, which I'm going to look at now in the training. But essentially, the library gives you a whole bunch of information about kind of your academic writing, how to do good research, different types of literature reviews, how to do good referencing, and we link you to things like Mendeley, where you will be able to put kind of websites into Mendeley and it'll spit you back out a reference. And this is really important because this is our library search tool. Okay, so within Learna, we have a dedicated library tool for you to use. This is EBSCO, which gives you access to Medline, as well as a whole bunch of other different databases. And we host that ourselves. Okay, that's our library in a nutshell. Going to go back now, and I'm going to click into one of the actual modules. So what does this look like for you? I'm going to click into module 3 here for medical education. And now, here's a test for you. Can you remember what Anish was talking about in terms of assessment at the very beginning of the course? We have the academic forum, which is 40%. We have the reflective journal, which is 10%. We have the module activity, which is 20%. And then the end of module exam, which is 30%. And Sarah was talking about the end of module survey as well. We have that here. That is a required part of the course. And then we have the results. This is where you click to access your results at the end of the module. Normally they're released about 20 days after the module ends or the final submission is submitted. Okay, so we're going to now take a little bit of a look at each of these and what they look like on the platform and how you can interact with them to make your most out of your time within this within this module. So if you click into the academic forum, you can see immediately we give you a whole bunch of information and some tips for success. I'm not going to go through all of that now because it's not entirely relevant, but Underneath that, we have each of these individual weeks. Okay, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, and week 6. Each of them will have a slightly different focus. And that will depend on exactly what the module is, exactly what the program director has decided is going to be in these modules. We're going to click into week 1, and here we have a massive array of different resources for you. Okay, so the first thing you might notice is that we've got our recommended reading here. Okay, we've got recommended reading for scenario 1 and scenario 2. Don't worry about that for the minute. I'll go through that in a little bit more detail. At the top here, you can see we've got our link to our library. We have a full comprehensive reading list for the entirety of the course that you can access. And then we have something called our Learner AI tutor as well. Now, this is a fantastic resource that we've developed in-house to support you with your academic writing. It's not a medic, it's not going to replace your tutor, and it's not going to replace the feedback you get from your tutor, but it is here to give you a little bit of a prompt to make sure that you're writing correctly in an academic way that will get you the best marks you possibly can do. I'm now going to show you week 1, scenario 1 for the medical education team. Now, at the very beginning, Anish was talking about how we develop these clinically rich scenarios and then ask you some questions or give you some discussion prompts on the back of those clinically rich scenarios. So for here, we've got the scenario. As you can see, it's called scenario 1, and they give you this very kind of educationally rich scenario in terms of this medical education course. Obviously, if this was more of a medical-based course, it would be more of a clinical-based scenario. And then at the bottom here, there are some prompts and some questions for you to consider. Underneath that, we've got some reading. And if you remember, in the previous page, we also had some recommended reading up here as well. Okay, so we've given you this scenario. We've told you where the recommended reading is. We've prompted you with these questions. So now the idea is it's up to you to go away, to do some research and to form your answers around these questions. And as you can see here, about 300 words for a post is absolutely perfect. But this person has gone through, has chosen one of those scenarios and is given a detailed answer. From there, and this is the fantastic part, this is where the educational theories really come into practice. Is where all of our social learning, all of our community of practice ideas, and all of those kind of really rich online interactive ways of learning really come into play. You can see that one of their peers has responded to this post, and in this case, she is prompting with some further questions and giving a little bit of challenge to that original answer. And then this conversation continues as we go down, and continues again and continues again. Okay, so this is when we say an academic forum, this is what we're talking about. It's peers teaching peers, challenging peers, questioning people's learning, and really developing a really deep, rich understanding of the course materials through a discussion. Now, that's not to say that your tutor isn't also in this doing exactly the same thing. They are. If there is anything that maybe has come up which is not quite correct, then your tutor will definitely be in there to correct knowledge. Your tutor will also be around to support you in terms of your academic writing, in terms of your the depth of your questions, and giving you specific feedback on how you can improve against your against the marking rubric. So that's the academic forum. The second thing here is the reflective journal. Now, reflective journal is really important for specifically for UK-based learners. We do reflection within the NHS and within medical practice all the time. But we do appreciate that for some people outside of the UK, reflective practice may not be as common. So we give you some support and advice here. We give you some examples of different reflective models. And the idea is you're going to spend about 600 words, depending on the course that you're on, about 600 words to reflect on your learning throughout the module and how that's had an impact on your clinical practice. So Claire was talking about how she has heard from her students about how they applied a particular piece of learning to the actual practice. this is what this is looking for you to do. This is what this is looking at assessing. Okay, how are you applying your knowledge that you're gaining on this course to your actual practice? Next up, we've got the module activity. Module activities vary massively, and they are very, very bespoke, not only to the course that you're on, but also to the module that you're on. So we have a huge number of things. This one here is a presentation, but you might be asked to do a AI case report, or a peer assessment, or a scientific poster, or a narrated presentation, or a patient information leaflet, or 10 million other things that we have. But these are your more kind of traditional forms of assessment. Okay, so this one is create a 10-slide presentation on this particular topic. And this one also is a group submission. Okay, so we have asked people within this module to work together to produce this presentation. You'll find that you will all come across group activities as well as individual activities, and the specific course you're on will depend on the mix and match of those. Okay, so module activities come in two forms, either individual or group. Finally, then, we have the end of module exam, which is the thing that strikes the fear into the hearts of all of the learners. It is a 1 hour multiple choice question, or MCQ exam, consisting of 30 questions. The exam itself is open book, so you will be able to use resources, but you only get 2 minutes to answer every question, so it's unlikely that you'll be able to rely on resources in order to answer your questions. It is a summative assessment, so it happens at the very end of your module, and there is one for every single module, depending on the course you're on. We've got 1 or 2 courses that don't have an exam with them, but they're special cases and they'll be communicated to you as well. So essentially, that is then your module in a nutshell. So I'm just going to go back to the module page. It's all laid out for you in a really easy to understand way. You can see here we've got a progress ticker. This is just a demo account, so this person hasn't made any progress because they've not been interacting with it. But as you interact with the academic forum, this progress ticker will tick up, letting you know that you're kind of making progress on your course itself. Finally, then, we have this page here called the Help Center. Now, we pride ourselves on having a fantastic student services team who are there to help you answer questions. We have WhatsApp groups for all of our students where you can just quickly send a message to our student services team if you've got any questions, or send a message to your peers. But if we can't answer any of those questions, sometimes we might guide you to this Help Center, and this Help Center contains a huge wealth of information to answer kind of any and all of your questions. So yeah, you can take a look through this when you join the course before you ask what you think is that really silly question to your peers. But actually, your peers are all thinking exactly the same thing. So yeah, that is essentially the learning platform that we use. It's a lot more complicated than what I've shown you. I've kind of rushed through it in order to fit it all in this 20-minute slot that I have. When you join, don't worry, because everything will be explained to you step by step through study skills and through the module designs for you as well. And that is it from me.
Thank you so much, Andrew. That was really a whistle-stop tour, but actually it was really comprehensive in 20 minutes to have done that. That was really helpful. And actually, you know, Andrew spent a lot of time going through this and actually looking at the student journey from right at the beginning, thinking about that student mindset of people, as he says, that might have not done a level 7, you know, academic qualification for some time. Actually, it might have been undergraduate medical school or their training where they last did any sort of academic work or exams, etc. It really kind of thought about the student mindset and the student journey through. And so this platform does look different than it used to probably even a year ago. So thank you very much for the work, and thanks for the presentation, much appreciated. So I just want to pick up, and you'll hear in a little while that, you know, he mentioned something really important, is the student services team. You'll hear later a little bit more about this from Anna, but we do really pride ourselves on a really quick turnaround. We have multiple ways which you will feel supported through your journey, and we really do pride ourselves on that. So next I'd like to move on to another colleague of ours, Kath Scourfield, who is our head of customer care and communication. She'll tell you all about the admissions process under her. Thanks so much, Kath. Over to you.
Thanks, Anish. Welcome, everyone. It's so lovely to have so many of you here, as everybody has said. And Claire has mentioned the fact that there's so many of you from all over the world, which is so lovely for us to see. So really, really nice to meet you. As Anish has explained, I'm head of customer care and communication. And that is mainly our admissions department and our student services department. And I just want to stress really that from our point of view, we really want to make sure that we're making this process as easy as possible for you. So we do take pride on our application process. We've made it as simple as it can possibly be for you. And we aim to get back to you within 24 hours of you applying for your application. Now, there's a couple of key points of the application process that we just want to make sure that you've got right to save you a little bit of time when you're ready and prepared to start your application. Now, a few of you have created your applications already, which is fantastic. I can see a few of you have been accepted. So congratulations on your accepted for your chosen program, which is awesome. So well done, really excellent. Now, a couple of the areas of your application process then. Your first one will be your personal statement. So we just ask you to spend a little bit of time on that. It's a really good indication for us to understand a little bit about you, what it is you've done in the past, why you want to do this program. So take a little bit of time to big yourself up in a personal statement and let us know that what it is that you've done previously and what you want to work towards. So it's really nice to have for us to read your personal statements. The next area then that we ask is, as you know, these courses are postgraduate. So we do ask for a copy of your undergraduate degree, just so we can see what you've specialised in before, and also to make sure that the course is a good fit for you. Now, some of our students apply, they think they know what direction that they're looking to go in, or they know that they want to further their education, but they're not quite sure which course would be best suited for them. Now, we are on hand to help as much as we possibly can. So once you've started your application, please don't hesitate to get back in contact with us if you think maybe you're not sure if it's the right program or if you want to do something else. So yes, please make sure you're in communication with us the whole time. We've got I think it's over 50 programs now, so there's a lot to choose from at different levels. As you know, probably because you've been on our website, we offer postgraduate certificates, postgraduate diplomas, and our masters. So lots to choose from, and I'm sure we'll absolutely have something that is relevant for every one of you. But again, if you do need any help, then please holler. The other thing we ask for is a professional reference, as you'd probably gather. So we just need a name and details of a referee that we can contact on your behalf. And the other thing is, depending on what program you're applying for and where you're from, we do ask for English proficiency. Now, we've got such a wide range that we can accept. So don't be put off when you just think it's IELTS and maybe you haven't actually done your IELTS yet. Please don't be put off by that. You can reach out to us in admissions, contact us, and we can run through a list of accepted proof of English that's available for you, really. Now, again, you'll probably all know, but our start date for our September cohort is the 1st of September. So we want to encourage you to get your applications in as soon as you can, ready for you to secure your space. So yes, that's our application process. I think a lot of your questions have been answered already, but we will make sure that we put our admissions email address in here. So if you do have any questions at all, then please holler, give us a shout. And as I said, we look to get back to you within around 24 hours to let you know whether you've been accepted or not. So yes, that's the application process from me. If any of you have any further questions, I'll keep an eye on this chat for us now. But as I said, hopefully it's as easy as possible for you just to take some time, fill out your application, and then yeah, we look forward to welcoming you all very, very soon. Thanks, Anish.
Thank you so much, Kath. Very, very much appreciated. Thanks for your time, and again, your experience sort of shines through as everyone's has this afternoon. So just before I move on to the last speaker, everyone, I just want to remind you of the timings here. So we're going to hear from Anna in just a second, but the idea now is kind of in 10 sort of 50 minutes or so, once Anna has spoken to you about her role and her team, we've got a 15-minute sort of Q&A session, really. I know you've been very good at putting your questions in the chat, but certainly if you've got any other questions that you want to ask on, while you've got the opportunity here, then we are going to allow some time for that. If not, don't worry too much. You can always come to us afterwards if you don't want to ask it here. But if you do, please start preparing questions in your mind, and we're all here to answer those. So while you think of those, I want to introduce Anna. Anna is our Student Services Coordinator, and I want her to tell you very much about our Student Services team and the incredible work they do, because we, as I said earlier, we pride ourselves on this. So Anna, over to you. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Anish. Yes, my name's Anna. I'm your Student Services Coordinator at Learna. And together with an amazing team, we'll be right by your side throughout your academic journey, from the moment you enroll all the way through to your graduation. And yes, if you attend your graduation, there's a good chance we'll be there to cheer you in person. So Student Services is your go-to team for support. Whether you have a question or just you need a little bit of encouragement, you're not sure where to go to or where to turn to, we're just a message or an email away. We're incredibly proud to be recognized as one of the top performing student support services team in the sector, and it's our genuine privilege to help you succeed in your academic journey. So just a little bit of information going forward. Our next intake is, like I said, the 1st of September. And if you're a postgraduate diploma student wishing to progress to the MSc year, the journey will start in October 2025. If those dates feel a little bit too soon for you, not to worry. Our next intake will be in March 2026. So no matter when you choose to start, know that you're not alone on this journey. You'll be part of a vibrant, supportive learning community, and we're here to guide you every step of the way. Thanks again for joining us today, and we're looking forward to welcoming you soon. And remember, if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to be in touch. We'll be right here to support you. Thank you, Anish.
Okay, Anna, thank you so much. So that brings us to the end, really, of the session where you hear specifically from us and various members of various different teams, really opening it up to the floor to see if anyone has got any questions that they would like to ask on this platform, really. And equally, if you don't want to ask it here, you can ask it in the chat. And equally, if you don't want to ask it in the chat, then you can always get hold of us for sure. I think, as people might be sort of thinking, I kind of just want to maybe sort of summarize and bring some of the points together, really, if I may. I think, at Learna, we've got a pedigree now. We've, been in existence for a very long time. We've got 50 programs. We've got a suite of 50 programs that we offer, all UK university validated, all have various assessment methods within them. But actually, those assessment methods are complementary. They're not disparate. They all complement one another. And actually, these programs aren't meant to be easy. These are level 7, they're degree level awards. But actually, the whole point is that we take you along the journey. We've got, hopefully you understand now from our various teams that we pride ourselves on supporting our students through these programs. This is not just a, right, this is the work, off you go, and we'll, if you've got any questions, come back to us, but we'll see you in, in 6 months or a year's time. Absolutely not. We absolutely have tutors that are your first port of call on the program. We have a dedicated team internally that help you through, that are here and open for questions, and that's really important. And actually, what for me, one of the really, really nice things about this role, I'll come to you now, Dr. Holt. One of the really nice things about working at Learna really is being part of that process that allows people to upskill their knowledge, to network with other people globally through which they can keep connections, but also an amazing thing is to turn up at graduation ceremonies, because actually that's where you have these people that come and they're really happy that they've put the work in. Yes, of course, it's not an easy program, but actually they come and they say, look, if it wasn't for me doing that module or learning about this specifically, I wouldn't have been able to diagnose a patient with, and actually that would have been a real problem for that patient. I've heard of some instances where there have been students that have been at whole, just on their own responsible for a massive area of a hospital. And so by upskilling, they've been able to treat their patients better. I've had other examples when I've tutored on a program where people have said, look, we didn't have an MDT, we didn't have a multidisciplinary team approach to looking after patients in palliative medicine, and we didn't have an infrastructure that really allowed that. But the conversations were so useful that I've now come back in the next module, and guess what? I've actually spoken to the correct stakeholders, and I've actually got an MDT in place now, and it's so useful. And those sorts of stories are really nice to hear. So graduation ceremonies for us are really nice, where people have put the effort in, they've got something out of it, either through looking after their community, building infrastructures and policies that help them create better healthcare in their areas. But also we've had stories where people have come back and said, because of this, I've credentialized myself, I'm now a key opinion leader, or I've got this job, and therefore it has increased my pay. We've got testimonials to that effect. So, and being part of that globally, being part of that journey is really exciting. Sorry, Dr. Holt.
I just wanted to add to what Annalene was saying and what you sort of said there, Anish. It's not just the tutor support. I want all of you to know as well that student support, as tutors are really, really well supported as well by Learna, which makes our job so much easier to be available to support all of you. So that was one thing. The other thing I just wanted to say is, for me as well, it's the affordability of doing this online Learna, postgraduate diplomas and masters. They can be very, very expensive depending on institutions. And this is very affordable for a lot of you. And I do know that Learna offer the payment plans as well. So I think that's an important point that I don't know how much people know about that already. And I also just wanted to share just a couple of sentences from some current students that are currently on a program. Like I said, I'm currently tutoring on module 6 of one of the programs. And at the start of module 6, I always ask them how they're sort of feeling now they're in that final module and how they've been getting along. And one of the sentences that comes up a lot is, someone has said, I want to say how lucky I feel to have worked with such a great cohort, such a wonderful group of now friends throughout this course. The shared experiences, discussions, and support has really got me through. So although this is faceless, it is digital. I just wanted to reassure everybody that you still make friends, you still build networks, you still build relationships. And so much now with modern technology, I do know that for some of the module activities that are group activities, people get together, they either have discussions on WhatsApp or they get together using Teams or Zoom or other platforms. And there's always opportunities to still meet your peers, your cohort peers face to face and work with people in a really, really connecting way to grow in confidence, grow in that knowledge, and be able to apply yourselves more confidently in your places of work. So thank you, Anish. I just wanted to add those few points.
I think that's really important, and I think for me, I kind of agree with that. And look, this is an educational program. But I think really importantly for you is, what can you take away? What can you take out of it personally? How does that help in your community? How does that help your colleagues who you work with? But absolutely, as Dr. Holt just said, this is a networking opportunity. You are literally being introduced to people that not just only do your role, but do different roles that have a place within that subject or that topic globally. You are literally being introduced to people where you're potentially having great networks, and actually that can then continue lifelong. You now know someone across the other side of the world who's in the same area, and so you just think laterally, job opportunities, networking. There's so many things that come from being in this group for so long. So lots of different things that come from this program that you wouldn't automatically think of. So I think that's a really good point. Okay, so I can't see many other questions. Hope you found the open day really helpful. What I do want to say is a huge thank you to all of our speakers, first of all. So to Sarah Younger, our academic registrar, to Dr. Holt, our program director on 2 programs, Andrew Stevens, our head of learning experience, Kath Scourfield, our head of customer care and communication, and Anna, student services coordinator. I also wanted to shout out massively to our marketing team that's headed by Rachel Ellis, who have put all of this together. So without them, this would have never happened. So thank you so much to the marketing team. And actually, massive thank you to the people in the background that have been answering all of the questions that have been in Kath Scourfield's team. So thank you to everyone that's been part of this. And lastly, really, a huge congratulations and really to welcome everyone who has already been accepted for our program. Really excited to have you join us very, very shortly. But actually, just to reiterate to people to complete your applications before the 29th of August if you're looking to start on September, so we can welcome you on our study skills in September. So hopefully that's been really useful. Thank you for attending our 2025 Learner Open Day, and we look forward to seeing you all soon. Have a wonderful rest of the day and take care. Bye now.